Well, this is it. This is everything I've wanted in life. It's all come to this. Finally, my dreams and aspirations of being a lawnmower are realized. Oh, the steam thrasher. My love, my only. So the Steam Thrasher is, coming back to the game temporarily, more or less. I think the Wild West llamas have come back in V-Bucks like 4 times now as I'm recording this. It might only be 3, but at this point I'm stressing out because the steampunk weapons are set to return soon. So if you're watching this in the future, then welcome, future comer. But the Steam Thrasher is not a new weapon nonetheless, and the best perks for this thing are pretty standard because a lot of people think that the only way to use this thing is to spin around a lot. And while it does make me dizzy to use this weapon, I have to concur with that analysis because you can use the normal attack speed. I do have a perk set up here from Jolie. She gave me a copy that's attack speed and damage instead of a crit build, as you'll see later, and it does make it a little bit more usable to just swing it like a normal scythe, but absolutely the only viable, meaningful way to use this is with the heavy attack, which has a surprising amount of control because you can spin forever as long as you have energy, and it's actually quite effective as you can start and stop as needed, and it makes it very effective against not only just crowds, but high HP individual enemies as well, like smashers and mist monsters. So if the heavy attack is basically where we're getting all of our damage, then there's really only a couple of ways to perk this, and I'm going to go right into my schematic to show how. It does have a base 15% chance to crit. I don't know if it has a base 75% chance to crit. I think most of the Steam weapons do, so I'm going to assume that it does, but regardless, you're going to want a crit rating, crit damage build on this because comparing it to the attack speed damage, the attack speed didn't actually buff the heavy attack nearly as much as I thought it would, or at all, because I don't think it affects that, and so the crit rating, crit damage was definitely more useful because I was basically comparing a crit build to a single damage perk. If you want to go double damage on this, it might be a little bit more effective. I know a lot of people like to do life leech on this because this weapon will do kind of a lot of damage anyway, and if you're using Paleo Luna in your support somewhere in general, or Blast from the Past maybe, then you're going to be getting, plenty of damage output anyway, so that is something you could totally go for. Life leech, heavy attack would keep you alive for a while, and then maybe you could just do a damage perk to get something going there, or you could even use like a crit damage perk up here, and then, you could figure it out. There are a lot of ways to go this. What I'm showing here is the most bog standard way to do it. Now, the heavy attack efficiency is, I think, quite necessary because if you are going to be using the heavy attack, becoming one with your lawnmower inner self, then the heavy attack efficiency is going to be necessary, and the loadout for this is even more important. Energy regeneration is extremely important for this build, so that's actually why we ran Anti-Cuddle Sarah in the lead, and I'm not a huge fan of that concept because I feel like if you're going to be using a scythe like this and it's your main primary weapon, then you'd want to be buffing a scythe, right? But that energy regeneration is super important. In fact, in the support, I actually ran Saurian Hide, which, looking back on it, I more or less question that because in a field of zombies where you're taking a bunch of damage, yeah, maybe a Saurian Hide, extra armor perk would help you stay alive longer, but I think Saurian Claws from Paleo Luna would do a lot more to actually increase your damage, but it's totally up in the air. You can do whatever you want with that. Saurian Focus is a must, though, if you're going to want to stay in the action. With Blast from the Past, keeping that active, you'll be regenerating 4 energy per second, which is a really, really good way to keep down on that energy cost. So with a heavy attack efficiency, Anti-Cuddle Sarah, and Saurian Focus, you should be good to go. I did not seem to need more than that, and it's not really that you're trying to be spinning forever because so long as you're eliminating enemies with Anti-Cuddle Sarah, she's going to be giving you energy upon every single elimination, so long as there are enemies to kill, you'll be getting plenty of energy and you'll be doing just fine. As you guys know, I love going coconuts. If you're watching this upon release, the Pirate Llamas are currently in the game. You might have a Crossbones Barrett, hero just sitting around, and his Going Coconuts ability is awesome. Even if he's a purple rarity, it is going to be completely fine. I highly recommend using coconuts for buffing not only your damage, but keeping your health. And then, of course, Anatomy Lessons and Scythe to Meet You are just 2 great perks to use if you're trying to buff that Scythe. Scythe to Meet You, it's important to note that if you do not have the Slowed and Snared 6 perk, she's not going to be doing any bonus because she only buffs your damage to Slowed and Snared, but if you do have an Affliction schematic for this thing, then you can use kind of whatever you want. Corrosive Strikes or whatever I believe would be a good option, and anything that just helps your damage overall would be nice to have. So to give one final rundown on the best perks of the Steam Thrasher, I highly recommend a crit build, but if you really don't like crits and you want to have more consistency, double damage will be completely fine, but you got to remember that most of our damage is coming from the perks in this case, so having optimal DPS is quite important, and you could do double crit damage if you wanted to run some kind of hybrid totally rocking out build, but if you know what you're doing in that case, I'm going to leave you to that. Obviously, attack speed and damage might not be optimal. It'll let you use the normal attack more often, but I don't think you should be ever using that anyway, so I'm going to recommend against that. You don't need more than 1 heavy attack efficiency if you have a decent enough loadout. You could go for 2 of those. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I don't really recommend that either. And then then you could, of course, go Life Leech, as I mentioned, if you want to add a little bit of extra damage. But if you're going to go Life Leech, then honestly, I think crit damage alone could be okay. So long as you're using anatomy lessons in the support, your crit chance isn't going to be that terrible, and I do believe it'll still be better than damage. But my personal recommendations would be a normal crit build with heavy attack efficiency. The element, you're going to want to keep this energy if you're going to be using this in lots of different zones, because one element will be best for that specific counterpart, but it'll also have its negatives. So if you're going to use fire, then water zombies are going to give you a lot of trouble, etc., etc. I'm going to link my elements guide in the description below if you want to sort that out. And then, of course, you want this 5th perk to match. I do not know all of the possible 6 perks to the Steam Thrasher, but Slowed and Snared and Affliction are the 2 that you're looking for. Affliction would be really good in recent updates. It's been doing a lot of extra damage, so that could be really helpful for you. Obviously, Scythe to meet you isn't going to be an option in that case. However, I'm sure you can figure that out on your own. And then, of course, damage with Slowed and Snared. If you have the Slowed and Snared 6 perk, you got to get that 45% extra bonus after the first hit. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been the Steam Thrasher, my favorite lawnmower in the entire game. And leave me some comments below. Leave me some suggestions on stuff you want to see. Hope you guys enjoyed, and have a nice day. And then